I've been looking at listings for a while, like listings and stuff like that on the website, my MLS.
Gotcha.
So
Sounds
just getting
good.
more familiar with everything.
Okay, cool. So today we're talking about. Oh, hi.
Okay,
Oh, no, you're totally fine.
Stillwater meetings.
Oh, you're fine. It's just us. We're hanging out. It's pretty informal. Apologies. Okay, so we're focused on buyer forms today. What was your name again?
Jennifer.
Jennifer. Very cool. Nice to see you. My name is Nick, by the way.
Fatima and
Nick.
Nick.
Yep.
It's nice to meet you.
So, new agent? Are you?
Yes.
Oh, perfect. Wonderful.
How are you? Okay.
Very good. Very good. I'm going to bring up a couple of notes. Luis was going to teach this class, so he sent me a couple of things. I'm trying to grab that really quick here.
Would it help to have our computer?
Oh, no, not really.
No, okay.
No, you're totally fine. Okay. So we're going to open up. We'll just go into forms. So, long story short, have you guys worked with any clients right now? Up to right now? No. Okay. Sounds good. No worries. No worries. So typically when this is super informal, so if you want to stop me or if you want to go off in another direction, that's totally fine too.
Okay.
I don't think they're recording it today.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Oh, wait a minute.
Maybe they are. Let me just ask, just in case.
So are you in this area, the Woodbury area?
No,
Stillwater. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen that other training for Stillwater. There's a training for Stillwater Mastermind early today at 9:30 a.m.
That's their meeting, their weekly.
Oh, the weekly meeting.
And, or just
Yeah, I'm good to go. Okay. Yeah.
So that's where I
Okay.
was. I looked at my clock and I'm like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so we are recording, so I need to stay more on track, I guess. So, first thing I want to go through, when you sit down with a buyer. So when you're sitting down with a buyer, the first thing, I'll just role play through sitting down with, chatting with a buyer, and then what forms we're going to be going through. So when you sit down with a buyer, you want to talk to them about a lot of what it is that they're looking for. I look at it very much like a first date.
That's a good analogy.
That is.
It's very much like a first date. And here's a bad first date. And what was your name again? Apologies. Jennifer. Okay. So if I said, "Hey Jennifer, my name's Nick. I'm about 5'4". I'm really tall. I'm super good looking. I'm really wonderful. I'm probably my mom's favorite child. I scored number 3 on the spelling bee last week, and I'm just really awesome. So I'd love to be your boyfriend." Right? So that sucks. It doesn't work, right? You have no interest in that. So the same thing goes with being an agent. I know a lot of people go in and they have the numbers that they did, how great they've, examples of what they've done in the past and so on and so forth. But really and truly, just like a date, when you're going out, the best thing you can do is ask questions. When you get to know somebody and have them talk, that's going to be the most impactful. So just with the buyer as well. So Jennifer, it sounds like you're looking for a house. Is that right?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. So as you know, I'm a real estate agent with Keller Williams. It's kind of cool. We're one of the largest brokerages in the United States. So where are you looking? We can actually cover you anywhere you go.
Stillwater.
Oh, Stillwater. Oh, wonderful. So tell me more about what it is about Stillwater that you love.
The history, the river.
Oh, sure. Very nice. So you're looking to move to Stillwater. You love the history and the river and so on. Are you hoping to get on the river for a new home?
Sure. How about an old Victorian era
Oh, those are
home that they
beautiful.
have there?
Sure.
Yeah. Might as well.
Why not, right? So a big thing that I just want to hit on is just ask the questions, ask the questions, ask the questions. You can sprinkle in a little bit of, Stillwater's a fantastic area. We had an opportunity as an office to close 35 transactions in Stillwater, which shows that you know the area, and so on. So let's say we agree on working together. First thing I want to show you is I want to show you a couple of forms that we're going to be working together on with. first thing I want to cement is that we're going to be working together, and there's a form called agency, and agency is one of my favorite forms. I call myself a little bit of a real estate geek when I say I love this form. It explains what it is that I owe you and how we work together. So are you guys familiar with the old car? Do you guys remember that? Yeah? Okay, let's take a look. So we'll just go and get the agency form.
I like that one-liner about the agency form. Can you repeat that?
Oh, I don't remember what I said.
You're a geek about the agency?
Yeah, I like to be.
Like
It's one of my favorite forms. So I might geek out a little bit on this one. But the reason that I love agency is it's a form that really talks about how we're going to be working together. So Minnesota law requires that I show this. That's the other part of it. So the biggest thing that I really want to touch on down here is that I'm going to be working as your agent. You are hiring my brokerage, and my brokerage is using me to work with you. I'm going to be working on your behalf as an agent to help you purchase. So I'll be your buyer's agent, excuse me. The thing that I really want to go over is what's called old car. So a lot of people are like, well, old car, what is that, right? Obedience, loyalty, disclosure, confidentiality, reasonable care, and accounting. So then you'll want to go over that. And honestly, you can just read exactly what this is to your client. And I love to do this. I love to say, you know what? One of the things that's really awesome is you're hiring me as a buyer's agent, and you don't owe me anything. Nothing. $0. I get paid by the seller's agent, which is really awesome. So not only am I going to be a free cost to you, I'm also going to be able to work with you, and I'm going to work only with loyalty. That means that I'm going to be representing your needs, wants, desires in this transaction. Obedience, I'll be able to take your commands. You know, if you want to put in a higher or lower offer, we'll definitely do that. I'm going to guide you the best that I can. Disclosure, I'm not going to be out there telling everybody that, you know, the reason that you have to move is XYZ or ABC, whatever it might be. So we keep things together as a confidentiality. Next is confidentiality, of course, which is things that I need to keep a secret away from the other side. Mainly we see this on the other side with confidentiality in regards to selling. You know, again, that motive that you might have to sell because of whether it be a divorce or a job change or whatever else. Unless it's a material fact about the house that you're going to be selling, we do have to talk about that. But other than that, confidentiality, we're going to be working together. Reasonable care. I'm going to do the best job that I can do. And this holds me to it. This contract right here is to work in my best capacities to work with you and reasonable. Next is accounting. I'm not an accountant, don't worry. But I am going to be working with the numbers and showing you those numbers and reasonably showing you everything that's going to happen with the costs and the buyer's costs and so on, and connecting you with title with those that can provide you with the correct amount of money that you're going to be needing for closing and so on and so forth. Next thing we have down here, I won't be able to tell you anything about whether anyone in the area is renter or anybody on the list or anything like that, but I can have you just jump onto this website if that's something of interest or something of worry to you.
Say that again, what you just said.
Oh, so essentially I can't tell you who lives around the house, but if you have any, so legally I'm not allowed to say Johnny Z from,
list.
that thing.
Okay.
So legally I can't tell you anything, but there's some
see.
helpful information between 76 and 80 down here,
Okay.
if that's something of interest or worry. So the next form that I want to show you here is going to be the agency.
So if we wanted these, like a copy of all of these forms, how do we find those?
Yeah, great question. So if you want a copy of all of these forms, there's a couple of things. We used to have a folder in the back that you could just go over to and grab a copy of everything and carry them with you. I think I still have a folder of all of my buyer's disclosures and all of my seller's information, blank ones that I can use and just work with. Other than that, we can go into Transaction Desk. Are you familiar with Transaction Desk?
No.
Okay. So Transaction Desk, in your matrix, have you been in here?
Yes.
Okay, so when you're in here, it might look a little bit different. Look for this symbol right there, that little half a quarter, I don't know what you would call that,
Okay.
green sun or something. Once you click on that, it'll take you over to Transaction Desk. When you're in Transaction Desk, go to Forms. When you hit Forms, then you can click on and search whatever it is that you might need. So the next one we're going to look at is the KWR. Oh, come on.
Do they still have
Disclosures and waivers.
that folder for that?
Oh, yep.
Where we can.
Oh, they
grab
don't.
those
They don't
here,
have
they
any of
don't.
those
Yeah.
anymore. No, they stopped printing them off. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna, the next form. So we just went over the agency form, which is awesome. So we'll sign that. Next thing I want to go over is going to be the Keller Williams Premier Realty disclosures, waivers, and acceptances. So the first thing is that, as you know, I'm a real estate agent. I did not go through law school, and I'm not an accountant. But I'm going to do the best that I can as a real estate agent. There's like 8 pages of the book of law, and that's what they taught us in real estate school. So that's what I know. Anything outside of, whether it comes to zoning or
I like
anything
your
like that.
honesty about that.
Oh yeah,
Because sometimes
100%. I try to play off as dumb as I can at all times. Yes. I'm dumb.
it takes
Trust
a
somebody
lot-
else.
takes a lot of work.
Yeah, so when it comes to
Yeah.
some of your taxes or whatever it might be, how that might implicate, how you would implement a purchase into your assets and so on and so forth, that's going to be for your accountant and your tax advisor. So I would recommend working with them. That's nothing that I can advise you on. Next thing is, buyer hereby acknowledges that the buyer's agent may ask the seller's agent if there are other offers. Buyer understands that the seller's agent may be directed to disclose or not to disclose, so they might not be able to tell me. So just wanted to let you know. So I'm not trying to, might seem like I might have to say, I don't know if there are any other offers. And of course, we're going to say, of course, there have to be. It's not that I'm keeping anything from you, it's just sometimes they're not allowed to tell us on the other side. Next thing down here is there's a commission for a $5.99 broker admin fee. One of the things I wanted to tell you, Jennifer, is that does not go into my pocket at all. What that does is there's an office that we had met at the other day, and then there's that lovely front desk gal that was up there, Jana. It pays for all of those kinds of things in our office. The paper that I use to print off these contracts today, the lights that we turn on, and so on and so forth. Next is going to be the buyer's home inspection waiver. One of the things here is that buyer hereby declines the inspection of the property and relies. So this is, you know what, I want to ask on this one. I haven't signed this one. Oh, okay, there it is. Okay. So you do have the right to have an inspection if you want. If you don't want to, you don't have to. In this market, we've been finding a large percentages of homes have been selling without inspection. But all the way home, I will advise and push for an inspection. So just wanted to let you guys know.
Can we go back to that commission part?
Yeah.
Okay, so you said it was free for me to buy
Yes.
this house.
Yeah. So the commission that I'm
see
gonna,
that.
yeah. So no, that's a great question. I'm really glad that you brought that up. So the services that I'm providing are going to be free. So the opportunity for me to find the house, negotiate, and so on and so forth, I'm getting paid from that side. The fee that we do have is going to be the $5.99, and that would be separate from the actual house.
And that's gonna happen at closing.
At
That
closing,
would just
yeah.
gotta get mixed up with
Correct.
everything else.
Yeah,
Okay.
great question. So this fee is not only if you do a transaction with Keller Williams. Yeah.
Okay.
And whether you work with myself or any other agent here in this office, it's a $5.99 fee that we assess on all deals.
Okay.
Again, it's the stuff that pays for the bills here.
Yeah.
Yep. Page 2, affiliated business disclosure. So Partners Title next door has a business relationship with us. We may or may not use them in the future, Jennifer. If we do, I just want to let you know that we have a business affiliation. Next, final walkthrough. We recommend that every buyer go through a final walkthrough, and I'll walk through with you. We'll go and take a look. You can find lots of checklists online if you want to. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to go there and make sure that everything looks the same as when we had walked through originally. Carbon monoxide detector requirements. When we do go through that final walkthrough, we want to make sure that there are going to be carbon monoxide detectors. Video camera awareness. This is new within the last, 5 years, 10 years. Now that we have all those Ring doorbells and the Amazon Alexas and whoever else's, whatever cameras, they may be able to listen to us when we're out walking the property, talking about the property. So if there are things that you don't want the seller to know, keep that. Let's try to talk about that off the property. So I'll have the initial there and there and there and there and there. Okay. So now that we're done with that form, I want to jump over to the next form, which is, second here, agency, it's going to be the, sorry. So I like to do agency, and then I do the KW disclosures. Then I do the buyer's representation contract. And the reason I do that, and I don't know if anyone else, I'm sure everyone else has their own opinion. The reason I do that is because it goes in the, because I'm always nervous. I'm nervous like, oh no, are they gonna sign it or what are they, no. But if I can get them to start signing something in the beginning, like hey, I'm excited to work with you, and this is the agency form, and it talks about how I'm going to be the best that I can be for you, they're going to start signing. So once they start signing, then it gets easier. It's easier, exactly.
So the agency form you do first.
I do, yep. After that, then I do the KW disclosures, waivers, and acceptances.
So you're doing it in order right now?
I am, yep, correct. After that, I do the buyers.
You said the buyer's form?
Yeah.
KW disclosures. Agency form, KW disclosures, buyers.
Sorry, it's just a glare up there. Okay, so we always want to use the exclusive one right here. Buyer's representation contract exclusive.
What's it called?
Oh, buyer representation exclusive. Okay, so want to run through this here, Jennifer. So the buyer is you. So I'll have all this filled out previous to go. Broker is Keller Williams Premier. We're going to be starting our conversation today, starting this contract today. One of the things that we'll do is we'll date this for about 1 year. My guess is we'll be able to find a house in about 2 months or so. I know we might probably jump into a couple of contracts and not get the house. What we want to do is we want to just have enough of a timetable for us. Let's say you have to take a break from house searching. We don't want to have to come back and redo contracts. So this will be from today until 1 year from today. We're going to make a reasonable effort to locate property that's going to be acceptable for you. So that's, again, reiterating some of the promises that we've made to you. Next, there is no retainer fee. I don't charge anything like that. You can if you want to. I think in 2008 people were doing that, 2009, during the recession, some people would do that, with investors especially. So buyers shall pay brokers. So I know that we had talked about that I work for you for free, right? Because the seller's agent is going to be paying. So what I typically do is I'm going to bring in 3% or 2.7 or whatever it is percent-wise that I typically get paid on these deals from the other side. If for some reason that they don't pay that, it would then fall back on us. A conversation between you and I. Yep. But 9 times out of 10, actually I would say almost 95 out of 100 times, the other agent's going to be paying.
You know, there was,
Yeah.
at this meeting I was just at,
Mhm.
someone had a seller who was wanting to not pay the buyer agent. And that's what they wanted to make a deal on, was to not pay
Yeah.
them, and they were real conflicted about it, so.
And you know, my personal belief, not that it really matters at all whatsoever, my personal belief is that sellers' agents should get paid by sellers and buyers' agents should get paid by buyers. Because right now, the fact of the matter is that if you're selling the property and you're buying the property and you both have agents and you're paying 6%, 7%, 8%, 4%, whatever it is, when you split that, you're paying her agent. So this agent right now is actually kind of working for you now, even though they're working for you. Right, so that's my
Makes sense.
opinion on that. I don't love it, but it is what it is. Okay, so we're gonna put in either MLS or a percentage. I typically put in 3% or 2.5 or 2.7. Next down here, line 34. Let's just say, Jennifer, we walk into a house, 123 Banana Street. It doesn't seem right. And then let's say you decide that you don't want to buy a house anymore and we're done working together, which is totally fine. If it doesn't make sense, it doesn't make sense. And all of a sudden 123 Banana Street comes back up and they call you, or you see it next door or down the road, and you go and purchase that home. If you do purchase it within the 6 months of the expiration of this contract, I would still be working with you. This is kind of a clawback, if you will, or it's kind of a safety net for some of the work that we do in living union. Next thing today, if I remember correctly, we're going to be doing a residential and personal property. Is that correct? Fantastic. So we'll check that box. Do you have a favorite closing company, or do you have any relatives in the closing company that you'd like us to work with? No? Okay, perfect. Would you like me to line that up for you?
Sure.
Wonderful. I'll check that. Agency representation. So this is called dual agency. Are you familiar with dual agency?
Well, no.
No.
Would you please explain?
Sure. So dual agency essentially means that if you're going to be working with me, if you agree to dual agency, if there's a listing that I also have from another client of mine, I can make that available to you. If you are not open to dual agency, I would not be able to, because I wouldn't be able to represent both of you. If you're open to dual agency, I would be representing both of you to the best of my abilities and the best of my knowledge to work with both of you guys to separate, again, keep the confidentiality, but be able to facilitate and represent on both sides to get a deal together. Does that sound fair? Perfect. So we'll go ahead with the dual agency. Again, that means that I'll be able to show you lots of other properties that either I myself have listed or other colleagues in the building have listed. Perfect. Check. Sign. Next. Nothing under other, and we'll sign at the end. Okay. And the next one here. We're going to go over to the compensation agreement. So now that we've agreed to work together, we're going to work on the compensation agreement, if I could spell.
So the dual agency is both, they would have access to both your listings and other people's listings under
In this building. So if you don't...
under the same brokerage?
Yeah, if I understand it correctly, it's that they wouldn't be able to, or they would have to be represented by somebody else.
Right, if not.
If not, yeah, correct. Yep. I have yet to have anybody sign up with it. So the next thing is going to be our compensation agreement. This again just reiterates what it is that we're going to be working on together. I want to put the date down. If the broker is receiving, again, the broker is going to be the guy above me or the gal above me. They're going to be receiving a payment from the seller's agent over to this brokerage. From the buyer, that would be you. We'll do the 3%, 2% MLS, whatever it is that you put in there. This is again to just reiterate what we talked about in the compensation or in the representation agreement. I sometimes joke, sometimes when it becomes repetitive, I say, no, it's kind of a repeat thing, but probably someone got sued, so we have to do another form.
Oh, sure.
Right, that's the reason we have to check boxes. And we sign there, check there, and we are done with forms. So, yeah,
That's all the forms.
for sure, that's all I need.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Well, there's purchase arbitration. I don't know how much they want me to go into. I can go into that. So those are the forms that you're going to need right off the bat to be able to get a buyer. I think that's all I'm going to go into. Once you secure a home, then there's some other forms that you would need to do, like the lead-based and the arbitration and all those other kinds of
It's
things.
good though to just have it broken down because it's
Mhm.
a little overwhelming.
Oh, it's incredibly overwhelming. My first, I mean, I can break from this now, but my first offer, I remember it took me 3 hours, 2 hours to write up.
That's a long time.
It
Okay.
took a long-
So if it takes.
No, I mean that was a good amount of time, and then I sent it over, and the only thing that saved me is the other agent was an old friend of mine, who happened to actually sell me my house 4 years before, and so he called me up. He goes, "By the way, these are all the things that are wrong on your offer. So let me fix them for you, because I like you." I was like, "Thank you."
Actually,
So.
very humbly, that is.
Oh.
You're kind of like,
Yeah.
yes, thank you.
Wait, please, thank you. Yeah, no, he was fantastic. He really helped out a lot and helped me with some of the check boxes and stuff on the offer. So, yeah. But other than that, what other questions do you guys have? Thoughts, concerns, ideas?
Yeah, that was one, because I was like, do we get help with the forms, or is it all on us to make sure that we got all our I's?
So that's where I would introduce Nikki across the way.
Okay.
She is your transaction coordinator or manager or something or another. I would recommend, if you walk out this door today, get a buyer, get a contract tomorrow, start work with her. She's going to really lay out what it is that you need to have done. And I'll tell you this, all day long, they send us forms, but just this morning I had 3 of my forms sent back because I didn't know. It's fine.
It just happens.
It's-
It just happens. Okay.
Our job in this business isn't to do paperwork, right? Our job is to go out there and shake hands, kiss babies, and the rest of it will work itself out,
Okay.
right?
That's good.
Because worst case, you did it
I
wrong.
know.
Right?
You have to have everything, you have to know everything, you have to be expert
No.
at everything.
The best thing you can do is make sure that, okay, so if I'm working with you, the best thing I can do for you, Jennifer, is A, get you into the right house, B, negotiate with the other agent, and then C, finish it up and make sure that you are, so I call myself simple and realistic because I want to make it as simple as I can for you. On the backside, it could be a complete hole of mess, craziness, just a flaming, ship of shenanigans. But you don't need to know. Right? Like as long
We
as
don't
I
even know how the sausage is made.
exactly. I mean, as long as I get everything signed, as long as we're checking the right boxes, and it's okay to make mistakes. Like just this morning, I found out that my buyer accidentally checked that there is subsurface sewage systems. I don't know how he checked the box, but they caught it over there, and so we just crossed it out and we're good.
That's good, you have a second step. Is,
Oh,
or
yeah.
more.
I mean, you can't get the deal through until they check over.
Is that a part of being with a brokerage, that they help you make sure? that
Yeah,
it's successful?
yeah, for the most part, yeah. I mean, you can have transaction coordinators, and she'll be a lot. So let me rephrase. My ADD got in front of me. So you can finish up the forms to your best of abilities. After that, we have a transaction coordinator who would give that to you, and they'll make sure that those are signed, and that your schedule is correct, and that most of the things are filled out correctly. Then it gets submitted to the MC and somebody else in the other office. I don't know if you've got Ann and Danielle. Yeah, Ann Clarity and Danielle CH something or other. They check through, and then Shannon over in Stillwater.
Okay.
So they check through all of the forms to make sure everything's good. So they'll check over that. And then they'll tell you what's wrong, and then you have to go and fix it. It's kind of like the IRS. You're just going to get in trouble if you just run. They just want you to fix it. It's not like the whole deal is dead. You just have to fix it.
So I got another question. You talked about negotiating with the other agent.
Yep.
So what are some tips on that? Because going in as a first-time realtor, I don't know whether or not that's a good deal or that they're
I love
being fair.
negotiating. I love negotiating. That's my favorite part of the job. One of the biggest things you can do is just silence. And remind me what your name was again.
Fatima.
Fatima. So Fatima, I noticed that you have 123 Banana Street for $224,000. Looks like a great house. I really love it. I saw a couple of things, but you know, all houses have those. Tell me a little bit more about the house.
Well, it's really great because it has parking, multiple stalls, and I noticed that a lot of other houses only have one stall.
Sure. Now, one of the things I did notice, I noticed some stuff on the chimney and stuff, but I think we can get that patched up and all that. My clients really love it. I know you can't tell me exactly why they're moving, but are there any motivations that I should know about?
Sure. Well, there's one.
So right there, you're not supposed to say that, right?
Oh,
Because we already agreed not to.
Yeah.
But if you talk nicely and you just shut up, they say it.
They tell you more than
They tell you so much more. If you just ask and you just say, hey, you know, I'm gonna get your name. Fatima, I did have it right. Okay.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful
One of the phrases I used 2 days ago was, hey Fatima, I know this is a crazy market, isn't it?
It is.
It is. Say, what is one thing that we could do that would make our offer stand out?
That's a good one. Well, we always like all cash buyers.
Definitely. So unfortunately, we don't have the all cash thing, but some of the things that have stood out in the past on offers that I've written in one are rent back disclosure or rent back availability, 1 day inspection, or 50% cash. Is one of something like that?
50% cash would definitely sweeten the pot for that deal.
So you can ask them and give examples of things that have worked in the past or of another agent that's worked in the past, and then it gets them to just open up their mouth and talk about it. The agent that I talked to, he said, you know what, they're moving for a job and they don't like the commute anymore, they're looking to sell, but they don't have a house yet, so they have a rent back. He said, great, I am super well versed in rent backs. This is how I do my rent back. This is how I structure them. I use title so it protects both of us. Isn't that nice, Fatima?
It is.
Yeah. Would that make sense for me to write that up?
Absolutely.
And you can chat with your client. Would that probably get us ahead of some of the others?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. So it's getting the other agent on your team. That would be one thing that I would really push for. Hey Fatima, I'm super excited about this house, 123 Banana Street. My clients walked through it yesterday. There are a few things that we saw, because you don't want to make it completely rosy. Right. There's a couple things that we saw, but that happens. A little bit of settling and stuff. And we noticed kind of the bare front yard, but that's okay. They like to garden. We'd love to make a deal here for you. We'd love to get us paid. Ha ha ha.
Right.
Now all of a sudden we are working together to get this deal done. Any other questions?
Just writing the tip
Yep.
first.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, does it get easier after you get your first deal?
Oh, not till like your 10th, 5th, I don't know.
How long, or what does it vary? I heard like 30 days to 60 days for closing.
Oh,
Like how long does it take?
Oh,
And what's the
I had
process
one
for
the
that?
other day, they came in with a 50% down, and it was 15 days. I've got another one that they came in with 5% down, we could have closed in 30 days, but they wanted extra time, so we're not gonna close for almost 45 or 60 days.
And is that closing, the time depend on like whether or not the walkthroughs and all of that stuff goes through like just fine and they like?
Yeah, the closing is more about the day that you accept. So Jennifer and I look at the house, all of a sudden we like it, and so on and so forth. We've worked with the other agent. Everything looks good. We passed through the inspection. Now we're into when the bank starts to do their work. So the bank is going to start pulling your credit report, making sure your income is still there, doing the underwriting on the house, sending out the appraiser, redoing their underwriting because for some reason they don't have. Banks are notorious for just being really stupid slow. So if you find a good, fast bank that's very aggressive, that's good. Other than that, that's usually takes about 25 days, 20 days. And then the other side of it is title. So the title company is going to be about 10 days to get everything done. They can do it in a flash if they need to. They can do it as fast as 5 days if it's cash flows, because there's nobody else to like put down on the TV or the bin holders and so on and so forth. They're just facilitating the transaction between you.
Good to know. So about that.
Yeah. It's a good song. What's the best song?
Yeah.
I am thinking that I may be working with first-time home buyers, and they're close to me, so it won't, I don't have to be too nervous. But I'm wanting to put together some kind of a packet to help first-time home buyers, how to prepare, like, because it may be this year that they buy a house, but how can they get ready,
Yeah.
get in shape to buy that
So,
house?
Drew, I think? Yeah, Drew.
Okay.
He could help you through Command.
Okay.
In Command are a couple of buyer's packets that they already have written up and done.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. Because I actually bought something off of Betsy.
Mm-hmm.
Because I
Oh, sure.
just I wasn't finding.
Yeah, that
it.
works too.
So, I mean, it was $7. It wasn't a
Yeah,
big
no,
deal.
no.
But it just looked really nice, and I loved the information it had
Mhm.
on it. One of the things it had was a map, and it showed just what housing is looking like, what the market value,
Sure.
in the area. So, where do I find
Oh,
that?
finally, the professor's here.
Yes.
Where do I find it?
So,
Market information.
Yeah,
for
Drew would be
that?
able to help you on that.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. Right, Drew? In case he's listening.
Thanks for covering, Bossman.
No problem, no problem. This is Luis. Luis was going to teach the class. He had something come up.
Doing?
Good,
So
good.
I taught them about we went through the agency, the disclosures, the representation contract, and then the compensation disclosure. Is that all?
Yeah, so.
What else do you-
Did you talk about like a system that you have for like your buyers?
I didn't talk about a system so much. I talked about the order that I show those.
Yep, okay.
But if you want to share the system, I'll go sit down.
No, I wanted to just kind of.
Yeah,
I'll
so
show
that's
you
what I
guys
have
what I-
on my
Thank you.
phone right now.
Oh, yeah, so what I do is I have a folder that every new buyer gets, and it has all of the forms that are required by the office. So anything that we need to command is on here, and it's pretty easy. So The agency relationships, at first substantive contact, we want to give, that's one of the most important ones, but how I do it is schedule a meeting with that buyer. I want to make sure that, first of all, I can sell them my value, right, or what I'm able to offer them. Also, I want to make sure we're vibing good, because I might not want to work with that person, depending on who they are. That's a lie, I want to work with everyone right now.
Yeah.
So I bring this, and then I also have like another folder that I have everything that, as far as what they're looking for, right? So I'll have that in there. I'll have them fill that out, hand it to them. So as far as location, price, number of rooms, bedrooms, square footage, and then we'll dive into details, because the objective here is to figure out, customize a search criteria, right? I want to get you started on the MLS. I want you to start getting things from me, but then we start looking at all the forms, and the ones I wanted to fill out is the agency relationships and also the buyer contract. Depending how comfortable you are, a lot of agents are doing that like beforehand, because we are. I tell them, look, I like to be competitive in this market. I'm going to be available for you nights and weekends. I'm going to be available for you when you want to look at houses. So the only way I can do that is the agency, the contract basically tells you that I'm committed to you and that you're going to work with me. If you position it in that way, it's typically easy for them to understand, okay, this guy's serious about helping me, I want to work with him. That's when you basically say, do you want to work with me? A lot of times you don't have to do it that way. If you're comfortable maybe just showing them a house or two, making sure they're pre-approved, but making sure that typically sometimes I wait when I submit it, we find something, we submit an offer, then I'll send them all the documents. But it's always nice to have this, because when you're actually on the transaction desk, okay, what forms do I need? You have it right in front of you, so just make sure. Absolutely. And I can send you guys this, if you want to give me your email, I can send you the checklist.
Yeah, in regards to showing houses, if you have a friend that you're working with, you can go and show them one house. And I usually joke like, oh, everyone gets one house for free, and then
I don't even have that one filled out. I don't know.
and then get the forms filled out, because
Oh, yeah.
you do want to get it filled out. And one of the reasons I mentioned that is, and this is a great example, a good friend of mine, acquaintance, he's not a friend anymore. He and I went out and looked at a couple houses, and I was like, yeah, he's been talking about houses with me. He shot me some emails about some. He called me up and said, hey, what do you think about this house or this area, whatever else. And then I didn't really see much. I'd been sending him some emails here and there, and then he called me up and he said, hey man, I'm so excited, I'm closing on a house. And I hung up on him. Just kidding. But apparently, another one of his friends had sent him a house, and he liked it, and they ended up going to closing, and that's because I didn't get a form done. And that cost me $15,000.
Because it was so informal.
Yeah,
Because it
because I
was
was
your friend.
informal, and
So
I was like, oh man, and then he says, what about this or this? And I was like, I'm sorry man, I can't actually answer any of your questions. Have a good day.
No, that makes sense.
I think I made
Because you do it with your
But-
friends and family, you don't
Yeah.
think to.
And you can always,
Get
if
them
you
to
feel,
sign.
exactly, if you feel weird about it, and that was one of the lessons that I had. I just felt weird, like, oh, man, I know that we're friends, but can you sign this? What I do is I sometimes throw the broker under the bus, and I just say, hey, Luis, I totally know that we're going to be working together, but because we have to actually solidify it, because my broker wants us to have record of some, where we're going, what we're doing, what we're showing, all that kind of stuff. Do you mind if we sign these two forms?
Do I have to sign?
Yeah, great question. You don't have to, but unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to represent any of your needs if you buy the house.
Oh, I want you to do that, so.
Awesome, that's good stuff.
This is really very helpful.
Yeah, because like, I'm actually, so this, I take the two folders, like I said, and then I'm just filling out their information. Let me get your best phone number, what's your email. If I'm just meeting this person for the first time, I want as much information as I can about them. And then I can just say, hey, like he said, my broker wants me to send you a couple of documents. This is what they are, kind of explain them. And then just send it over to them electronically, or if you want to have them on you, like the agency relationship, you can have that. I have that printed out, so
Yeah.
you can have them sign it right then.
The other thing you can always say is if you feel bad about throwing Mike the broker under the bus, you can say, hey Luis, my process of showing homes is getting these forms filled out so that when we find the right house, we're ready to jump. So you I don't want to say blame. I'm not trying to say the word blame, but essentially you can blame it on the process or on like the delivery.
Yeah, I would never not, they don't know.
Yeah, they don't.
They don't know that you're,
Yeah,
I mean,
yep.
you know.
Yeah.
It's so
One thing that has helped me, and is me understanding that I have to be able to help you. So after I discover what your needs are, what you're looking for, and then I ask you if I am able to meet all of those things, is there a reason why you wouldn't allow me to represent you in the process? If you tell me no, excellent, then we're gonna work together, right? Yes. All right, well, I'm gonna send you a couple of forms that just tells you that you're gonna be working with me. I'm gonna represent you through the process and spend the time and just continue to talk about how much value you're gonna bring to that. But I feel like if you address that beforehand,
Yeah.
ask them, are you willing to work with me if I'm able to meet your expectations and exceed them or whatever? If that the answer is yes, well, let's get this
You
signed.
can feel the commitment there, like it's a.
Correct. They're committing to you, and then you're saying more than anything, I'm committing to you because this is what I'm gonna do for you. You have your plan, you know, you sell yourself, but your value proposition is what makes you different than the other things. Any questions about that, guys?
Here's my email address. Because
Yes.
I want to make sure I get that.
Let me,
That's
I'll
from
take your
Stephen.
card.
Is that okay?
Yeah, I'll send you that.
Yeah, I don't,
Have a- I knew his first name. It's on my fridge.
I'm coming from home.
Yeah, if you wanna, I'll just write it down.
Yeah.
Or else. And so you guys like newer agents?
Yeah, well, pretty much brand new.
Yeah.
We haven't sold anything yet. I did my, I got my license last summer. So this summer will be 1 year, but I've been trying to transition and, cause I have a full-time day job and then, some family stuff, my mom passed and stuff, so I'm just trying to get everything through and then now I'm ready to refocus
Yeah.
my energy.
And how about you?
I signed on here in December 30th, and I just got my license, passed my test in September. So, I haven't, I'm still just trying to wrap my head around it.
Because there's a lot of information, we have access to a lot of information,
Yeah.
but it's hard to figure out
Yeah.
what information is priority over other information.
I mean, going back to what I had said earlier is, I had said Luis's, your main job is just to smile, dial, shake hands, kiss babies, and get to know people. The rest of it will work itself out. And I didn't learn that for a long time.
That helps.
Like, you
so
can
much
mess
that
up
you said
so
that.
much, and somebody else will have your back for the most part. Like, best way to put it is if all of a sudden you come back with 35 contracts, enough people at the office will give you as much help as they can to get that done.
Okay.
They don't want to lose that, right?
Okay.
And they want you to succeed. So if you say screw this to everything else and just all you do is shake hands and get a contract signed, and you come back and then you say to Ann or Aaron, I don't know what to do now, we'll help you.
Okay,
Like-
right. That's
Yeah.
My one piece of advice is, for me, I'm newer, so I'm 16 months into real estate. I didn't get my first sale until like almost 7 months into it, right? Because you find someone, maybe they need to work on the credit or whatever, they have things that they need to work on. But just me being in here, being around people like Nick, Kevin Sutton, and just other agents that are doing the business every day, allow me to being here, allow me to go and build a relationship with these folks that are really good at what they're doing, right? And grow like that. So I would strongly recommend you guys to be around as much as you can, introduce yourselves to, because they're not gonna hold your hand here, unfortunately. They're gonna wanna see you put in an effort, right? And what I like about KW is that they're always willing to help. So if you ask someone for help, they will say yes. And then if you guys ask me for help, I would definitely help you guys because I just want to give back, because people
Yeah.
haven't given to me here. So I want to be able to, now that I have a little bit more knowledge, help you guys as your agents. And I know, I've been in your shoes recently, so I know some of those frustrations that I had early on as an agent, like not knowing how to navigate transactions, not knowing how to, which forms I need, right? So and that's why now I work on these systems where I don't even have to think about it.
I
It's
love
right in front of me.
systems.
Mhm.
That's,
Just
I didn't have those
my
systems.
brain
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm very ADHD. All of this information coming to me, and then I have to get on the computer and take all these avenues of looking at all these sites. I don't feel like I get anything accomplished.
Yeah.
And so I need systems that will work for me.
Even with like passing the test and stuff, I'm always the person who has to put it in, like acronyms and different things like that. That's why I love OCAR.
Yeah.
Things like that you can keep in your brain, and there's information that can be
Do you remember
readily pulled.
fresh corn?
Huh?
Fresh corn?
Yes.
Yes, but I don't remember what it is.
Oh, yeah, that's for
That's a
protection.
fresh one too.
Familial,
Yeah, it's like all
That's
the
right.
things that.
Religion.
religious, ethnicity, sexuality. No, sexual preference. Because that's different. Age.
Is that something they teach at every school or just?
One of them,
I
yeah,
think that one.
yeah, me too.
Kaplan.
Okay, well, okay.
Yeah, but one of those doesn't have, like, one of the letters doesn't have.
One of the letters
I think it's the S. I know it's the H.
is here in Minnesota isn't protected, but it is in other
Yeah.
states, I think.
It's age, I think that's the
Oh, yeah.
AGE. It's the, yeah, so. that's
Yeah,
the
age is not,
age.
because you can do a 55 plus. I've always wanted to have like 40 and under.
That's the only people you want to work with. That's what-
No, it's a 40 and under building. You're too old, get out.
Really, you know, I mean,
It's called a dorm, but that's a little bit too young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, this is super helpful.
Yes.
I'm just so happy that I set aside the time, and that's what it is. It's how much time I'm gonna make it a priority, you know? Because I think the more time I can focus in.
60-hour a week job.
Right. And I do that anyway for my day job. That's why I was trying to scale back with that, because like it's supposed to be 8 hours a day, but it's never that. So
What's your
I'm a site director at a charter school
Okay.
in St. Paul.
that's good.
Yeah, so, you know, and I've done it for a while, it's my like 8th year. I've always been in education, but I believe that the two go hand in hand, because I mean, I know a lot of people from education that are getting married and want to start their lives, and they want to be in the, you know, home buying, you know, they want to buy homes and stuff like that too, so. It's like, me too, I'm looking for a home right now, because I just newly married, so. I see myself not as a salesperson, because I never liked to sell when I was working in retail. I never liked to sell people with a credit card and all that stuff. But I do like to, you know, help people. So, yeah, I'm a helping person, so I feel like that's still what we're doing here. So.
Yeah, there's no like greater joy for me than someone that really didn't have that education or how to do it, and then you educated them on the process, guiding them,
Mhm.
and then once you're at the closing table, it's like, here's your keys, congratulations.
Yeah.
Like that's their happiest moment, that's their
Yeah, it
biggest
is.
purchase, and for you to
Yeah.
know that you've helped them throughout that, it's amazing. You build like lifelong relationships with a person.
Right.
I just saw George Bailey. I don't know if you've seen it, It's a Wonderful Life. I just saw the George Bailey scene where
Okay.
he says, here's bread, you know, and because they got their new home and the Bailey saying his name. You guys know what I'm talking about?
No, I do.
I just,
You
when
just
you
seen it?
said that, it's like a greater feeling.
Yeah,
No.
because it's still education, even though I'm in education, I think this is a kind of creative branch off of that you could do, so that's what I was like.
Plus you're already in the community.
So,
I gotta
yeah.
figure out how to make some money until I can make some money, because it's not cheap.
Yeah, and that's what I found out, you have to spend money to make money too.
You have to spend a lot of money.
You can't just expect it to come
Yeah,
to you.
It cost me, I added it up the other day. That's another thing.
It's just the fees. This
Oh,
doesn't-
fees, I have an assistant, and I have fees, and I have all these other things that I do, and it costs me $3,000 a month to run.
And
I
that's.
don't think I'm that expensive, but it's,
$1,500 is my assistant.
I would say 500 for me, depending
Yeah.
how much marketing you're doing also.
You should be able to run this business for about 800 a month with all of your CMAR fee, or not
Oh, that's
CMAR,
true.
MinCar, Oh my goodness.
It adds-
Association fees. MLS fees.
Yeah, I didn't even realize it until I was like, oh, it's time again? What
Yeah.
is this for?
Yeah.
What is that for?
But I
And
didn't
know
sell
I'm looking
anything.
at
Why do I have to
this-
pay it? I didn't
Right,
sell anything.
exactly. But that only motivates me to get
Yep.
on track then. Like,
I-
shelling out that
yeah.
I need to produce.
I'm telling you, I think they should raise those by like $5,000, and all of a sudden we'll find people working a lot harder.
Yes.
Yep.
No, this is super helpful.
Any other questions? We've got 3 minutes. I would hate to have you lose out
Yeah.
on not getting the full amount that you paid for.
Thank you.
Oh,
I
no, here's
appreciate
my,
it.
Oh, you got it? Oh.
People tell me they're gonna
here's my
email me
email.
stuff and
I need to
forget.
always bring my cards too. But actually, with my marriage name change, I didn't know. I didn't realize.
Okay, I'll get you guys, the checklist.
Do you have a card?
I don't right now. I have one in my office.
Oh, can I write your email down?
Sure. Nick, N-I-C-K, Moucha, M-O-U-C-H-A,
Oops, sorry. N-I-C-K, Moucha.
M-O-U-C-H-A.
That's a cool name.
Moucha at KW.com.
I go to you for negotiation tips. I've heard those are real savvy.
I'm gonna write that down,
Yes.
negotiation tips.
Yes. And Luis Reyes.
Yes, it's Luisreysmnn. I had to shorten it up because I have two last names of Spanish.
So you put M-N? Reyes and then?
So, Reyes
Okay.
and then, I think, I don't know if I have that.
Yeah, you
Might
know.
be Reyes Camacho.
Oh,
So
it was
you
recorded.
You just pick your form, or print your forms off.
So you help us.
Can I go up to the